America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
We're losing our democracy!
More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Wake up!
Before we get into that, let's get into this.
All right. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Liberty Bowl live stream Friday. We got a whole bunch of shit we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about the fucking Biden DOJ fucking going after its political opponents as usual. We're going to be talking about Owen Schroyer, Enrique Tarrio. We're going to be talking about Biden tanking in the fucking polls and CNN copium, trying to deal with obviously the old liver spotted bastard fucking clearly not being able to fucking beat Trump or really any fucking buddy at this point. So we're gonna be talking about Eric Adams and fucking his complete 180. Seems like he's practically on fucking Trump 2016 rhetoric when it comes to immigration these days. And we're gonna be talking about a bit of fucking gun news. Fucking of course in New Mexico to just today the fucking governor pulling some completely fucking authoritarian dictator fucking bullshit and attempting to ban citizens basically carrying guns. They're trying to say that it's not going over to private ownership, but they're enacting emergency measures to fucking basically saying that the only people allowed to have guns in the state of New Mexico are the polices. All right. We're also going to be touching on some neo-Nazis and who they might be supporting in the 2024 election and why. I'm sure you guys have all seen the fucking video already, so I'm sure you're all very well aware of what we're talking about. All right. Oh, then of course we're also going to be talking about, is Obama gay and smokes crack? Kind of inconsequential, but nonetheless entertaining. All right. How you doing today, man?
Doing damn fine, man. It's a good day. Wasn't too bad, and time for the weekend, bro. It doesn't get better. What about yourself?
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Fucking, just been enjoying the slight cool down. A little bit of cloud cover that we've been getting. Other than that, it's been going pretty well. Surviving, I guess.
All right.
All right.
As good as you can do in the Bidenomics.
Right. Yeah, shit, that's saying something too. All right, but let's go ahead and get started right away here. Actually, go hit up a dab real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get started. We're gonna be starting out with New Mexico. So fucking governor of New Mexico basically enacting, we brought up before, the point that Swine made in the past, that this whole emergencies thing, this public health emergency, this fucking public emergency, to where they get to basically declare an emergency and go ahead and do whatever the fuck they want. They get to fucking walk all over the Constitution, wipe their ass with it, wipe their ass with your fucking rights, and no consequences. Deal with the consequences later, right? So that's basically what we have going on here in New Mexico. All right, so basically the governor is announcing that they are going to be enacting emergency measures in order to, I guess, keep the public safe, because apparently guns and stuff are a public health emergency now. Apparently it's bad for your health. But yeah, absolutely fucking, again, completely wiping their ass with your rights and, the Constitution, completely dystopian fucking authoritarian 1984 type shit. All right.
Yeah, man, it's definitely 1984. New speak for real. It's we got to take your ability to defend yourself away to protect you, and they figured out through COVID, with all the little bitches that bowed down and kissed the boot, that they just have to declare an emergency and say it's for the good of everyone's health, and they can do whatever they want. The vast majority is going to acquiesce and put their head down and do what they're told, man.
Yeah. So if COVID taught them one thing, it's that the American people will, they'll comply. But if history tells us something, they'll only comply so far, up to to a point. Once history starts, repeating itself, and they start trying to repeat the same fucking measures over and over again to just take away your rights and completely destroy the country, it's gonna, people are gonna take notice and do something about it. Hopefully.
But as usual, it's asinine thought. You know what I mean? It's the people that are killing these children that she's speaking about are not going to listen to fucking 30-day memoriams on gun ownership. You know what I'm saying? It's absolute ridiculousness. Clown world as usual. All it is prosecuting law-abiding citizens, and again, removing your right to defend yourself to protect you, man. And it's double speak, and like you said, 1984. I dude, love the book. I've read it several times. Great movie, but you hate using the line because people, it's just like saying racisms at this point, man.
Right. Right. And then at the same time, it's fucking the Dems will fucking argue that it's the same thing with us. Fucking, oh, we're the 1984's people. You guys are trying to handsmaid tell us and shit. Fucking,
Yeah.
yeah. But all right, let's go ahead and check out this article real quick from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Fucking governor bans carrying guns in Albuquerque after 11-year-old is killed. So Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham on Friday announced a new public health order that she said will prohibit people from carrying firearms either open or concealed in Albuquerque and through Bernalillo County for the next 30 days, regardless of whether they have a permit. The order takes effect immediately. It states no person other than law enforcement officer or licensed security officer shall possess a firearm, either openly or concealed, within cities or counties averaging 1,000 or more violent crimes per 100,000 residents per year since 2021. All right, so that's just barely the first two paragraphs, and already a lot of fucking authoritarian shit to fucking break down in that one. All right, so they say basically, you're not allowed to fucking, just the line. No person other than law enforcement officers or licensed security officers shall possess a firearm. That right there in itself is the entire fucking gun grabber fucking wet dream. But for whatever reason, they think, it's funny too, because these lefties, they'll say that, like, oh, the government's fucking corrupt and blah 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 blah. But they should still be the only people in charge. They should have a monopoly on violence in America. Like, I don't know. It's completely fucking ridiculous. But
And the crime statistic that they stated there, as far as the boundary's concerned, that's like every major city in the United States, man.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, not only that, just the fact that, even for concealed carry permit holders, those permits are, for one, not cheap. And for two, you paid your money to the state. Like, you're paying that money to the state to get that permit. So the state will take your money and then tell you, okay, thanks for the money. Here's your permit. Now fuck off. You can't use it. Like,
Yeah.
that's a complete fucking slap in the face to fucking, anybody that fucking, especially the people that fucking are paying to be concealed carry fucking holders in New Mexico. So in New Mexico, they're not quite on the whole constitutional carry thing, and obviously from the looks of it, they don't look like they're going to be getting on board anytime soon. So they have a shall issue thing, of course, because what was that from the Bruin decision? Was that what that was from? That made it shall issue? Yeah. So basically, they're a shall issue, and that's just because they don't have a fucking choice. Clearly, here they would like to. Basically, the whole thing going on with the Dems right now is they're obviously fucking afraid of losing power, and so they're going all out, balls to the fucking wall, and they're basically just trying to see what they can get away with. As we mentioned earlier, fucking they're gonna continuously say it's an emergency, it's a state of emergency, it's a public health emergency, because they saw how well that worked with the whole COVID thing, right? And so now what they do is they basically just declare an emergency, and then they fucking pull some completely authoritarian shit, like try and tell you that you're not allowed to leave your fucking homes and shit like that, or try and tell you that you're not allowed to have a Second Amendment, like, period. They're like, this is even like worse than fucking, like fucking back in the 1980s and shit. Like, at least you're able to fucking, buy guns and fucking possess them at home, shit like that, go hunt and all that shit. Like, they're trying to make it to where fucking that whole line with no person other than law enforcement officers or licensed security officers shall possess a firearm. They're trying to make that law. Like that's what the goal here is. They know that they're not going to fucking, stop any fucking, shootings, any deaths, anything like that. All they're going to do is basically just make it to where the law abiding citizens can't defend themselves. And that's the entire argument against, the gun grabs in the first place criminals don't necessarily follow the laws in the first place. So it's, legislating, gun grabs and shit like that has little to no effect on them, right?
It's kind of like basically the federal government and the vast majority of the state governments at this point. It's like trying to wrench your rights from Facebook. Like, well, we changed the terms of services. That's now against community standards.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's absolute ridiculousness, man. It's like Zuckerberg's running the joint, bro.
Yeah, that's basically like what they do with what they've been doing with Trump too. Is they'll literally write laws to fucking make to throw something at them. Like they're yeah, like I said, they have no shame anymore. They're not trying to hide it anymore. They're not even trying to be sneaky about it. They're straight up trying to be. They're straight up basically like a third world dictatorship or third world fucking corrupt nation tactics and shit. They're
And
not.
the establishment Republicans just repeat the lines for him. You got Ben Shapiro out here, like you just said, changing laws to get at Trump when he just keeps repeating, like, Pence, there's no way Pence could have stopped the election. When literally after the election, they changed the law so the vice president can't change the election. You know what I mean? And now they just keep repeating the line as if it was that way to begin with.
Right.
He had the right to send back, the ballots to the electors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it would have went to the Senate. Like, he couldn't have chosen who was the president, but he could have passed it off to the Senate.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and continue on here. So, Luan Grisham, a Democrat, issued an executive order Thursday evening declaring gun violence a public health emergency. During a news conference Friday, she said she expects legal challenges to the new public health order and expressed uncertainty about whether the order would prevail in court. All right, so again, like I said, she's well aware of the fact that this is extremely unconstitutional. Like this is extremely corrupt, and she's very well aware of the fact that this is going to get shot down. And so that's why I say they don't care anymore. They will enact tyranny, they will get what they want from it, and they will deal with the consequences later. That's basically
and she flat out said right in the whole thing during the declaration that the limits on her power and constitutional rights, neither of which to her are meant to be absolute. That's all you need to know right there, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking make no mistakes, people. We are living in the police state. Like this is it's not like a fucking conspiracy theory. It's not a fucking it's not propaganda or anything like that. It's literally right in your face. It's literally right in your face from the fact, from all the January 6th people getting, arrested, fucking held in dungeons and fucking, no court dates and shit like that. Like, it's been years since that happened. And all these people are just starting to get sentenced now. Like, and at the same time, again, more proof that we're living in a police state. Like, and these people are being, people that weren't even at the Capitol, people that weren't even there are getting decades in prison. And it's clearly just, they're trying to silence the opposition. Anybody that, might be willing to fucking be outspoken against them, they're going to try and take them out first. That's the whole thing when it comes to like revolutions and shit like that. After the revolution, who's the first people to get fucking executed? The revolutionaries, because they're the fucking first people that would speak out against the new corruption and shit. That's basically what we have going on here. Is basically anybody that would speak out against the corruption, or anybody that may possibly actually take action against that, they're going to try and silence them. They basically have to get rid of all descendants, right?
It's because the people that will actually go out and burn the fucking joint down are on their side.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like on the right, like you said, they got to stop people from speaking out because they know that's the worst that's going to happen. Is there's just going to be some people that speak out. So if they just shut them down, they can pretty much do whatever the hell they want, man. Because again, it's the left that we've seen over the years that go out and put down over their beliefs, wrong or right. You know what I mean? Complete re-rees, just a reason to loot, whatever. They still go out and get the job done. Whereas, like you said, people that weren't even at the Capitol are getting decades.
Yep.
And that's because the right now, all the vast majority is going to do is just like we're doing now, sit on the inner zones and talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yep. And even when it comes to like the lawmakers on both left and right, neither of them want fucking guns. Both of them would be more than happy to fucking take your guns. They just know that they can't do it because our constitution protects that from happening, right? So basically all of these because it is true that or more states and stuff like that, it is becoming more accessible to get a gun and stuff like that. You do have your rights to actually carry concealed carry in a majority of states now, as opposed to 20, 30 years ago when you couldn't even fucking carry period in public. It's basically back in the 80s and 90s and shit, it was like how the governor of New Mexico is trying to make it right now. Basically, unless you're
It was a May issue.
right, and as everybody knows, May issue means you ain't fucking getting it. Unless you're fucking billionaire or you're a fucking police officer or like you run a fucking a diamond store or some shit like that. You're not gonna get a fucking permit to carry a gun. That's what May issue means, right? The fucking the plebs, the fucking the average Joes, fucking the me, you, the working class. Yeah, no, you have zero fucking chance. There's nothing that you can do to convince these people that you need a gun, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and of course the right, they got to keep up the pretense because you got to have opposition to keep the division alive.
yeah.
Yeah.
So all of these decisions that are basically making more and more states constitutional carry and shit like that, it's not the legislation that's doing it. It's the courts that are doing it. It's the courts that are striking down these May issues. It's the courts that are doing these these Bruin decisions, all these decisions that are basically making it to where, okay, well, all of the shit that we've been doing is unconstitutional as fuck, so we're going to stop doing it now. That's basically what is going on here. It's not the government, it's not the legislature trying to give you more rights as a citizen. It's not the legislation trying to protect your Second Amendment rights. It's the courts, right? That's why I say there's corruption on both sides. The uniparty is a real fucking thing. It really does exist, and they don't want your ass to have guns. Just the whole fucking the thing with Trump. Fucking take the guns first. Ask questions later and shit. It doesn't matter. Fucking left and right. Those both fucking anybody that holds a position of power that is elected, or anybody that holds a position of power and shit like that. That basically a lot of people have strong opinions about and shit. They don't want you to have guns. The only people that are allowing you to have guns are basically these Supreme Court judges that Trump installed, and the gun advocacy groups, like Gun Owners of America, National Rifle Association to a tiny extent, fucking FPC, Firearms Policy Coalition, shit like that. Those types of people are basically the people that are getting these decisions pushed through to get you your gun rights back. Other than that, fucking every fucking state, if it wasn't for that, every fucking state would be trying to get rid of your goddamn gun rights.
Yeah, I agree. Even Texas, man. I mean, obviously, it's become pretty purple, right? But man, I gotta say, dude, it all spells into the descent of a republic, right? And I got this theory, man. It's literally the last four presidents, bro. You know what I mean? And three in particular. You got Bush at first, right, with the Patriot Act and whatnot. Obama, obviously the most destructive in history. You have indefinite detention, the first one to start pushing the whole let's remove gun rights thing. And then, of course, making it so the media can be used as propaganda. And then you got Trump that normalized $1 trillion spending deficits. You know what I mean? And so the combination of those three presidents right there is the repercussions of what you're seeing now, man. And dude, it's kind of hard. I mean, you want to believe that, like Trump, like we talked about, ahead of a movement, right? Not really about the man, but you want to hope that he learned from previously. And if we were able to get the guy in, that he goes a different direction than previous, man. Because
right,
you see a bad precedent all the way across.
But personally, I think the MAGA movement itself is pro 2A. Trump, not so much. You know what I mean? But
I mean, he's of course he's trying to. It's election season, so you really don't know. But his first election season, he was pretty honest, like you said, take the guns first, and due process later. But he's kind of tried to flip flop on that a bit, and that goes along with the I learned from the last time,
yeah,
but
if
it's hard to tell sometimes, man.
kind of, on the spot question real quick, but if you had the opportunity to ask Trump directly one question, what would it be?
Who are you gonna fire?
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Fucking,
saying?
what's the first head to roll?
Yeah, because without that chain in place, without that plan, he could have the greatest, policy plans ever thought of. But without cutting the bureaucracy down and getting rid of some of that red tape standing in his way, it's not going to happen. It's going to be just like the previous time. He's going to be stymied almost by both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, if I can, how much do you think he's actually going to be able to cut, or like, I don't know. I think the really only stuff that he'd be able to do is like kind of defund, or basically, he wouldn't be able to actually, abolish too much, but he'd definitely be able to cut funding and, basically make them, you know, it's like 10 people that work in a fucking room by themselves.
Certain things he obviously could abolish, like the FBI was created by executive fiat, so I assume it could be undone with one as well. But I don't think he'd go that far as to abolish the FBI. He might fire Christopher Wray, but then what reptiles is he going to replace him with?
Right.
Because I mean, he replaced Comey with Christopher Wray. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If there's one thing Trump's known for, it's his bad taste of political character, I guess.
And you seen like with Tucker, that was the biggest part of his explanation going into the previous term, was that he's learned from that this time he's not going to listen to state advisors that are already in place. He's going to replace them with his own. I mean, that's what he's saying. And of course, the left. I don't know if you've seen the article that came out. It was, I think, the New York Times, and it was how it would be just complete white supremes extremesies if Trump was to come in and fire people and actually build his own government, like
Right.
hire put his own bureaucrats in place.
Yeah.
That's communism, but every president does it.
Right.
But for Trump, that's definite Stalinism or whatever.
Everything Trump does is fucking, super, Nazi, fucking Putin, Stalin, fucking Hitler, Mao-esque, fucking every horrible
Yeah.
name you could think of, fucking.
That's the shit I've been seeing recently, and it's pretty ironic. Like on the Twitter zones, you see these fools that obvious American commie, POS, and they're calling Trump. That's what that commie fuck wanted, man. Like I put the clip where he was speaking in front of what was it, the G20 summit, right? And he was saying that Germany's going to become dependent on Russian oil, and everyone laughed at him and shit. And obviously, that's what ended up happening. But that's, I got dudes on there like, no, Germany's fine. That's just what his commie ass wanted. Like, commie, what are you talking about? First
Right.
he's Hitler's peas, now he's Stalin, dude? Like,
Right.
what the
You guys are watching too much Anomaly, man.
Yeah.
Right? According to Anomaly, I mean, fucking Trump's the biggest socialist fucking president in history.
Well, like I said, I mean, he did normalize trillion-dollar spending deficits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, obviously we were growing enough to keep inflation down. Whereas now we're still growing. Like the economy is growing. Don't take that away from bedriddens.
Yeah.
But his spending is so out of control that it can't keep up with it. So inflation keeps ticking up, man.
Right. He's confusing the fucking the GDP with the fucking national debt. He's like, wait, which one are we supposed to be raising?
Right.
Like, I know I'm getting one of them. I'm getting big numbers on one of those two. I just
I was
fuck
able
it.
to cut 1.3 trillion off the GDP.
Right. Fucking goddamn, man. Fucking Bidenomics, man. Gotta love him. So fucking while we're on the topic of Trump real quick, fucking I know I've asked you this before, in person, but fucking for the show, what do you think of, because Trump's the two big things that fucking the right wing really fucking hate right now are lockdowns and fucking vaccines. And Trump's two fucking things that, well, the one thing, he still fucking proudly totes that father of the vaccine thing. And I know the whole fucking vaccines save lives back in previous pandemics and that type of shit, but it really has bad optics with his base at this point. And the fact that he's still toting it as one of his greatest accomplishments, one of the greatest accomplishments to human fucking kind and shit like that, it has bad optics. And then the other thing is with the lockdowns, he still maintains that it was the right decision to make. That like fucking he wouldn't do anything different, all that type of shit. And basically, what do you think of Trump's basically his refusal to accept or to even just admit that he's a human fucking being and he makes mistakes every now and then? What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, I think that he's trying to distance himself from the lockdown stuff a bit. Of course, he's going with the "I left it up to the governors" or whatnot. And I mean, ultimately, from his generation, rolling out a vaccine in 9 months is like an astronomical fucking achievement. Yeah, you know what I mean. And people tend to forget the dude looks younger, but he's like almost the same age as Biden, man. You know what I mean? So I'm sure COVID was something that probably scared his big ass McDonald's eating self to death. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And but as far as the infallibility image, I mean that's part of the whole Trump aura. That's the fucking bravado, man. And he wouldn't be the Trumpsicles without it, bro.
Yeah.
And what I mean? And so, while obviously I don't just want to make excuses for him and be like, it's okay that, because, obviously, we're on the opposite side of the whole C-1984V, right? But, I don't know. I won't take it, and it very well could have possibly saved people. I mean, even Dr. Malone was saying that there's only a small percentage of the population that in his view is going to have some kind of lasting effects from it. You know what I mean? As long as they don't keep taking it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to take that part. Obviously, we're never going to agree with a politician 100%, but here we are, bro.
Right. Like, did you see the Rand Paul's big old speech about against fucking mandating the vaccine for the Senate pages?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're 18 years old,
right?
And like, yeah,
absolutely no fucking health risk, and fucking the only risk to their health is the vaccine. Well, let's mandate the vaccine. Like, yeah, it's some absolutely fucking ridiculous shit.
That's where I was going to go too with the Trump thing and the vax. I believe he's almost speaking to his crowd with that shit. He's not necessarily speaking to the young fucking MAGAs, the guys rolling around in their 4x with flags on their truck and shit. You know what I mean? He's speaking to the 80-year-olds he wants to vote for him, man.
Right. And I mean, I guess you can argue that fucking if you are 80 years old and have health condition and have medical conditions and stuff like that, maybe getting the vaccine to lessen the severity of actually getting COVID, because as we know, the vaccine's not going to stop you from getting COVID. It's just supposedly going to make it less, difficult to get through. I guess maybe, seeing as a lot of these old people would die from the symptoms and shit like that, I guess perhaps it could have helped some of those people. So I guess, maybe speaking to that part of his base, is kind of useful. And like you said, the whole fucking back in Trump's time and shit like that, if you come out with the fucking vaccine and shit like that, you saved everybody, like fucking during the polio days.
If you did it in a decade.
right. During the fucking polio days, all that type of shit, fucking once they came out with the vaccine and shit, then it was like, all right, everybody, fucking crisis is over. We could fucking, we're safe again, and that really kind of was the case at that point. This is a completely different case, though. Fucking it's so I could see, where back in his time, fucking once you came out with the vaccine, boom, problem solved, crisis is over. Fucking we've saved the world, everybody. I guess, but just still the optics of it, especially with all the hindsight that we have now, it's not so much a good look. And then at the same time, fucking, I get, Trump's, that's part of his bravado, fucking no mistakes, just happy little accidents or whatever, fucking that type of thing. But at the same time, people do respect a man that's willing to admit that he was wrong at some point or another. You know what I mean?
Dude, if you clip this out, bro, right there when you do the happy mistake, you got to do the bros.
Right.
That's great, man. Yeah, but yeah, man. I mean, like I said, dude, the dude's gonna get my vote regardless.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not taking it, but like I said, I think he's playing to a specific crowd to get that vote. And you got to remember, back in that day, they damn near vanquished, like you mentioned, polio, and now the triple V or also triple time fucking COVIDs. So
Yep.
that's the difference, man.
That's right. Yep. Fucking. Yeah, I had something else I was going to mention right now, but I completely forgot.
That's the weeds.
All right. Let's do another one, man. And maybe I'll remember. Yeah, if I can. I was driving Uber the other night, and I picked up a nurse in the emergency room, and I asked her, if I can. When I drive Uber and I talk politics with people, my tactic is I feign ignorance. I'm like, oh man, did you hear that they're talking about there may be a new outbreak of COVID going around? Like, do you guys get any sort of protocols for anything like that, or are they starting to gear up for another emergency or something? And she basically said, I didn't hear a fucking thing about it. We ain't heard shit about it. So this emergency is not a COVID emergency. It's a fucking election emergency. It's fucking the fucking 1984 election fucking variant or whatever the fuck,
Right, Alexion variant.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems they're going to roll a new one out every 4 years, dude. It's that new strain. This one's definitely more deadly. This one's definitely fucking more passable, and it's going to grow as fast as lightnings, dude. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to come out every fucking late summer before fucking fall, just as election season starts to kick into gear, dude. From here to the next fucking eternity.
Right. Or until the
Like
fucking nation collapses, whichever comes first.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And even then, we'll be in our gulags, and they'll be like, masks on.
Right. Fucking masks up when you're indoors by yourself. Come on, Whoopi. Yeah.
You're already starting to see videos though of that are people posting like chicks walking around outside together with masks on and shit, and like just ridiculousness all over again, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully out here in the desert, because of the heat, we're a little bit insulated from it. Maybe that's why your rides weren't didn't know shit.
Right.
But you see back east in schools and everything, they're already starting to mandate it out, dude. And it sucks, you know what I'm saying? Because it's always like that with any kind of crooked ass political movement. They always start with the kids, dude. We got to protect the kids, man. If it's it's just one, but we want abortions up until 16.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And we want to fucking sterilize them and take them away from their parents.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
And don't worry, man. Hormone drugs, they're like reversibles.
Right.
No, they're not, man. If you miss puberty, you miss puberty.
Right. You missed the bus, man. You missed the bus.
Right.
Hey.
Micro penises all around, man.
Right. It's not going to be coming back in another hour, man. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, man. Some absolute fucking authoritarian shit coming out of motherfucking New Mexico. While we're still on the topic of firearms, fucking the old Liberty safes, man. They for being a fucking a 2A company, they sure shot themselves in the foot, like real bad. It seems that
you take the word liberty out of that fucking
right,
name,
you piece of shit.
Right?
Yep.
Yep. Apple has them beat out for securities now, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we know, regardless of even some members watching right now, dude, regardless of their words, Apple gave in to the FBI. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At least they held out, though. They held out.
Yeah.
Longer than Liberty Safes did. Liberty Safes was literally fucking, oh, what's that? FBI? Okay. Yeah, you need to get in the safe? Sure thing, buddy.
Right. No problem. Here's the code.
Right.
They really got to give them the code. Apparently, they just remotely open it.
Yeah. All right, so for those that are unaware, which I'm pretty sure most of you are, but either way, just for the sake of sounding official like news, like in Liberty Safes, the Hodge twins, they put out a tweet in support for one of their friends, I guess, that was involved or at the January 6th thing, and basically got investigated by the FBI. The FBI raided their house. They posted videos from the security cameras and shit like that. The FBI raided their house, and basically the person had a Liberty safe with all their firearms and shit, and supposedly fucking kept safe in there. Well, so the FBI went ahead and contacted Liberty Safes and asked them for the backdoor code to get into the safe. All right, so let's go ahead and pause right there. Why is there a backdoor code at all for the safes? I mean, and I understand, like maybe, some people want to have it stored somewhere, at a centralized location. So that way, if they forget numbers that they have committed to memory for whatever reason, they get a fucking case of amnesia, some shit like that, and they can't remember their fucking code, then they could call the place up and have them open it after identity verification and all this and that bullshit. I understand that. At the same time, the whole why would they give it to the FBI without them actually being subpoenaed, right? So the warrant itself was for the person's property, right? They had the right to go ahead and raid the person's property, which circumstances aside, fucking January 6th, fucking witch hunt and all that shit. Circumstances aside, they had a legal warrant that said that they had the right to go ahead and raid that property, and so they contacted Liberty Safes, and Liberty Safes just gave them the code. So they don't, just because they have the right to access the property does not mean that they have the right to. They do not have a warrant for that particular safe, right? So in order to get that safe to be actually opened, in order for them to actually be able to open that safe with by force, they need a warrant for that particular safe, right? So they go ahead and contact Liberty Safes, and Liberty Safe, without being subpoenaed themselves, just upon first request, I'm assuming, just okay, here you go, So let's go ahead and I'll read out the statement that Liberty Safes originally had put out, and then we'll go ahead and check out their backtracking that they attempted to do the following day. All right. So on October 30th, 2023, Liberty Safe was contacted by the FBI requesting the access code to the safe of an individual for whom they had a warrant to search their property. Our company protocol is to provide access codes to law enforcement if a warrant grants them access to a property. After receiving the request, we received proof of the valid warrant, and only then did we provide them with an access code. Liberty Safe had no knowledge of any of the details surrounding the investigation at the time. Liberty Safe is devoted to protecting the personal property and Second Amendment rights of our customers and has repeatedly denied requests for access codes without a warrant in the past. We do not give out combinations without proper legal documentation being provided by authorities. We regularly update our policies to ensure both compliance with federal and state law and reasonable consumer privacy protections within the law. First and foremost, Liberty Safe is committed to preserving our customers' rights, and we will remain unwavering in those values. All right. So that's the statement that they put out, of right after the Hodge twins, kind of exposed them and shit like that, and basically the whole backlash started when the whole fucking the wave fucking first started to take off on them, right? And basically, they're trying to save face, trying to cover up, basically this is what we've always done, right? The one thing that stands out to me about that one is basically they say that they've turned down law enforcement in the past, but why would they do it for this particular reason, right? Unless the court subpoenas them, in the past and shit like that, they would be willing to turn someone away. So why particularly this time, especially if they had supposedly no knowledge of the circumstances surrounding the case, right? I don't know. Any part of this first one that stands out to you before I go on to their attempted backtrack?
Well, I mean, in the we got a comment here. It's Outlaw says it's crazy those even exist, and if school taught him anything, it was to write his locker combination down somewhere, right? But what's funny is people are tripping on that fact right there, that it was even able to be opened or whatever by the company. But no one saw the advertisements on Fox, like
Right.
the old
Oh,
Fox
Hannity?
Stetlers. Yeah, Fox Stetler told everybody it's real handy if you forget your combination. They just unlock it for you. Keep going. Like you're an idiot, man. If like,
Right.
what's the idea of a fucking safe if somebody else can open it remotely, dude? What the fuck, man?
Right. Like they've been saying, it's practically just a fucking gun cabinet at that point.
Yeah,
There's nothing fucking stopping anybody from getting in there. I mean, especially
that a
with
stranger has the key to.
right. And not only that, dude, just there's so many ways to fucking be able to uh, I guess kind of trick these people or scam these people into fucking getting different passcodes and shit like that. Now that they're aware that that's an actual thing, that's gonna that's gonna become a thing. Now I believe they've already actually issued a statement to the owners of their safes saying that if anybody contacts you claiming to be us asking for your for your codes and shit like that, we will never contact you. If you wish to deactivate this feature and shit like that, contact us or whatever. So I mean, it's I don't know. It's pretty fucking hilarious fucking shit. I don't know. Yeah, when it comes to Liberty safes and stuff like that, so with Liberty safes as opposed to Bud Light, right? Here's the big difference with that. Bud Light is something that we'd consume on a regular basis and shit like that. It's not uh something that we invest a whole shit ton of money into. It's not necessarily like a car company or something like that. So there's the main difference right there, right? Is the price range. We could fucking just switch to a different beer. Fucking same thing. We just switch to a different safe company, but at the same time, you got to get rid of the fucking several $1,000s that you've already invested into your Liberty safe, right? So there's the whole anger right there. Now that people are aware that this exists, nobody's gonna trust Liberty safes again. Like that ship has sailed. Like regardless of what type of statements you put out now, that ship has sailed. Right. Now the other thing that separates this boycott from the Bud Light boycott is the Bud Light boycott was a cultural thing. It was basically they sponsored Dylan Mulvaney, and basically that was like a slap in the face to their customers and shit like that. Just the fact that Dylan Mulvaney is such a polarizing character that really was basically kind of just a absolute slap in the face to their normal consumer base, right? So with Liberty safes, they basically fucking sided with the actual enemy of liberty. Like, it's the government is literally the fucking enemy of liberty. Like that's why the Constitution exists, to fucking keep them in chains, to protect your liberty from them. They understand, the fucking founders and shit understood that government is necessary and stuff like that. Fucking it's necessary, but at the same time, it's almost inevitable that it's going to become tyrannical. So that's why they put these fucking essentially fucking chains and a fucking muzzle around this fucking great beast that is the fucking government, and that's what the Constitution is. So basically, this company called Liberty Safes siding with the fucking enemy of liberty is the damage is so far done that no matter what they do, it's not like they're just going to be able to turn around and apologize and fucking things are all better, like, oh, we made a mistake, it's okay, we picked the wrong person, as opposed to like Bud Light, as a lot of us were really kind of pointing out at the beginning. If Bud Light at the beginning had just said, whoa, nope, sorry about that, made a mistake, didn't realize, how much of a polarizing figure, this person was, and, sorry, it was if they had come out at the beginning and just said, the person, in marketing or whatever, I guess reached out or whatever without our knowledge and just, as a friendly gesture gave these individual cans or something like that, we would have the boycott probably wouldn't have fucking been as effective as it was. We would have probably just like, okay, right, they apologize for it, whatever, Now they're labeled fucking tranny fluid, fucking queer beer, fucking whatever I don't know. Insert fucking memes and ad libs here, fucking their name is fucking permanently fucking stained, So that's the big differences here. It's fucking they fucking completely sided with the enemy. Fucking Bud Light fucking basically made a mistake and then just fucking doubled down, tripled down, and fucking owned up to it. Fucking there's a huge difference. Liberty Safe's credibility and their name in the 2A community is permanently fucking tarnished. Like that's not coming back. You know?
Yeah, but Bud Light sure as hell coming back. You seen Benny Johnson
Right.
standing out. I think it was like in Tennessee, couldn't even give free beers away. And you mentioned, how the Constitution was meant to keep the government in chains. Now they're using it to remove their political opponents. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and read this second statement here that Liberty Safe's put out. I think it was today. All right, so at Liberty Safes, we are dedicated to safeguarding the rights and privacy of all our customers. It is a promise that remains deeply personal to our employees and leadership. Our company, one of America's oldest and largest safe manufacturers, was founded on the belief that Americans should have the fundamental right to protect and safeguard their valuables and property. As a courtesy to our customers, Liberty Safe has long adhered to industry standards by maintaining a secure database of factory set combinations. This practice helps customers regain access to their safe for a wide range of reasons, including loss of the original combination, service requests, and warranty issues. Liberty Safe processes over 4,000 requests of this type annually and provides combinations to safe owners only once they provide clear documentation of their identity and their ownership of the safe, or if the federal government asks us nicely. I do that last part of myself. That's not actually part of the statement.
Right. Over 4,000 of requests like that a year. Let that fucking sink in for a minute, man.
Right. Either fucking 4,000 fucking warrants or shit like that have been fucking filled each year, or 4,000 people are that fucking stupid that they can't remember a goddamn number. Either one, it's a fucking mind-boggling fucking statistic to know.
Right.
Right, so page 2. We listen to our customers and update our products and practices in response to their evolving needs. Today, we are announcing a change that empowers our customers with greater control over their information. Effective immediately, they put that in big bold letters. Existing customers can visit www.libertysafe.blah blah 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 and fill out the forms to have records of their access codes expunged in the coming weeks. Expunged. In the coming weeks, we will be releasing a feature that gives every new customer this option when registering their safe. This change allows customers to take control of how their information is stored and protected. We understand that many of our customers are willing to assume the responsibility of safeguarding their own combination, while those who opt out of our data storage process will have limited resources in case of a lost combination. Again, it's up here. How in the fuck do you lose it? We respect their choice and are here to support them in the way that's best for them. Now there's a page 3. I didn't know there was a page 3 on the first 2. We have also revised our policies around cooperation with law enforcement. Going forward, we will require a subpoena that legally compels Liberty Safes to supply access codes, but can only do so if these codes still exist in our system. Our mission is to protect what matters most to our customers, whether that be valuables or privacy. It is our pledge to continue to make excellent products that serve gun owners everywhere. Right?
Dude, that's a big fucking keep buying our shit, but you can remove the one thing that makes us, unique, but still buy the product. You know what I mean? Like like you just said earlier, bro, that you're done, son.
Right.
It's a wrap, man. You fucked yourself. There's 20 other safe companies, man.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Fucking. And then at the same time, fucking now they admit that they're aware of the fact that they did not need to provide those codes unless they are subpoenaed, unless a subpoena legally compels them to supply those access codes. They know now that they are aware of the fact, that this isn't something that they just fucking learned. I'm sure they have a fucking gigantic legal department that is well aware of the fact that if the warrant is not for us or for, directly to us to get access to that safe, then we do not need to comply. And we should not have a fucking obligation to comply. If anything, we have an obligation to our customers to protect their privacy from anybody other than the individual, Like that's literally the purpose of a fucking safe. Anybody that does not have access to that safe should never be able to get into that fucking safe. Like there's whole like things about like, oh, well, what about when grandpa dies, Fucking he never gave us the safe code, you know. But he's got, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of, you know, guns and valuables in there and shit. Well, pay somebody a couple $1,000s to fucking crack that bitch for you. If there's really that much valuables in there, shit, tell him you could pick fucking 2 guns out of there. You know, just crack this bitch open for me. You know, I'm sure you will not have any fucking problem getting somebody to do that. You know, but there should not be a back door to a fucking safe at all, like, ever, for any fucking reason. You know, that's I don't know. Fucking even people that want that should not be an option. You know, like, I don't know. I guess fucking people that, you know, people just want it, you know, just they don't care. And that's on them. But, you know, the one thing that you should never fucking think is like, oh, you know, it's okay, fucking if I'm not doing anything wrong, I have nothing to fear. That's a bad way of thinking, man. You know, that's a bad way of thinking.
Yeah, it's jacked up, bro. I don't understand the logic behind it other than you're an idiot. And it's definitely a product, I think, marketed towards the Sean Hannity crowd, man. That's all I can say, bro. That's like I said, as soon as this came out, the next day I was working at a client's house and there's a big ass fucking Liberty safe. And I wanted to say something then, but not only is it a client, but the dude was like 80 years old. So,
right.
You know,
right.
He'd be totally cool with it.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome they did that, man.
Right. Hell yeah, I didn't even know that was a feature. At least I know my great grandkids going to be able to get in there when I die. Right. But yeah, if there's one thing that's becoming abundantly aware, it's don't think that just because you're a law-abiding citizen that, you know, you're safe. You know, that you don't need to worry about being, you know, under surveillance, that that your privacy does not matter because you're a law-abiding citizen. You know, if anything, this point in time should make you very much aware that does not matter. Right?
Is that taking it into the next one?
Well, which one is that? Fucking Owen Schroeder?
That and Enrique and Tario, man, and yeah.
Yep. You want to go ahead and start talking about that one, man? Want to go ahead and pull up the article?
Well, I mean, the obvious one with Tario, dude's got the biggest sentence of anyone that's been charged thus far. 22 years. Wasn't even on property grounds. He was actually escorted out of the D.C. area, right? And, you know, so he wasn't even there, but dude's getting 22 years for speech, basically, you know? And then, you know, the Vern Troyer shit, Owen Troyer, sorry, he's you know, that's strictly like a speech thing, man.
Right.
I mean, again, that's like well, you know, he's not sorry for what he said, right. So he needs to go to prisons.
Right.
You know, like what?
He's refusing to concede to wrong think. Like we've told him that he's wrong. We've told him that, like, nope, or whatever. You know that thought that you have in your head. Yeah, that's a bad one. That's a incorrect thought, and he still won't admit that it's an incorrect thought. Like,
yeah, but for cats that don't know, obviously, right? Owen Schreier being from Infowars, and they're trying to give him 180 days
120
lockup, man, 120 for speeches he gave before, during, and after the J6s, and the fact, like we were just speaking on, that he's not so sorry for it, and he's not kissing the boots.
Yep.
I mean,
I got this article. It's not really so much an article. It's more or less the kind of a verbatim of Alex Jones's coverage of this. So for Media Matters, it's Alex Jones says, "I didn't cover it, but the Gateway Pundit did. Breaking: DC prosecutors seek 120 days in prison for Owen Schroyer for speaking out against stolen election 2020. Speech is now a crime." That's not just the Gateway Pundit's headline. I have charging documents the feds put forward here. Here it is. And it says, Owen Schroyer needs to go to prison for still saying, and they list August 27th, that in August, Owen still said he thinks the election's stolen and he called President Biden a pedophile. And they say, so we're asking the judge, because of his speech, to put him in prison for 3 months, or from 3 months to a year. Now let that sink in. In Australia, they passed a law to break into your social media and pose as you and commit crimes. It says it right there in the law. It doesn't sound real, does it? Human-animal hybrids doesn't sound real either. Now you understand
Talk
why.
about buttered sausage.
Right now you understand why I got to do it in the Alex Jones voice. This charging document, it's all over the internet. The left calling for his head literally says dozens of times, he won't shut up. He's not remorseful. He doesn't sound like Joe Biden. We want him to be in jail to the judge. They don't want to just censor you folks. They want to put you in prison. Forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. I mean, you can't imagine the people that with a straight face live like this. They're asking for prison time for a man that did nothing and was there with me trying to stop people going into the Capitol because he still says he thinks the election was stolen. Well, that's his right. They're openly telling you that you live in Nazi Germany or Soviet Russia. They don't care about your own birthright. That's the end of it.
You got to throw in the fucking 1776.
1776 will rise again. They're turning the frogs gay.
Right. But dude, insanity. I mean, it's for real turning like you got all these lefties that think they want to be like Europe, and just like earlier when we were speaking on Trump, you got half the country cheering this kind of shit on, right?
Yep.
And it's always like it's you got a whole entire half of the country that thinks they're going to be in the inner party, or that it's not going to turn around and be used against them by the opposing political party at some point in the future. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's so stupid, man.
It's just like
people are cheering on their own enslavement.
It's just like I was saying. They think that they have nothing to fear from this type of governance and shit. Even CNN. I was reading a CNN article about the Trump polls, which we're going to get into later. But yeah, even they're trying to say that the left wing is really weary of this type of stuff, because they're trying to cite that fucking because they went after Antifa in the same sort of fashion, going after the supposed heads and shit like that, and saying they're basically trying to compare Enrique Tarrio to the people that attacked Andy No. Yeah.
Right, and they held him liable in civil court only.
Right.
You know what I mean? They didn't even give him criminal fucking charges. You know what I'm saying?
Right. it's comparing fucking dog shit to filet mignon. Like there's no comparison. Like it's not even in the same fucking ball field. Like it's
and the people for the past 10 years that have been screaming Antifa's not real, that it's just an idea, are the ones that are in control doing the charging right now, and they're going after the heads of what?
Right.
It's in their heads. They believe it's an idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, man. It's loop-de-loop, bro. It's always.
Yep. So that does kind of beg the question. I mean, is it going to end up being like that on the right? Like, is it going to, like, I don't know. Is basically they're going to be a splintering of the right, like, is there going to be like a splintering of is Proud Boys or is fucking Oath Keepers going to become an idea instead of just a fucking centralized group?
I mean, the heads of the snake are cut off, right? That's all that's left. The idea, bro. So
let the blood drain down.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Fucking absolute fucking ridiculousness that they're comparing the two. Fucking. The fucking 22 fucking years in prison as compared to fucking being liable in civil court.
And their excuses that it's an extreme right wing, white nationalist fucking group, and Enrique Tarrio obviously being like a black Cuban, you know what I mean? And then like they talk about their sick deviant ways of initiation, and it's like frat shit, you know what I mean? Like they smack each other until you name 5 cereals or some shit, and you know what I mean? I mean, just stupid shit that you'd picture doing to get hazed into a frat, dude. And they're like, these are white supremes antics.
Well,
I mean,
I don't know, really, like were you talking about fucking getting into Antifa
Proud
and shit?
Boys.
Oh, getting into the Proud Boys?
Proud Boys, yeah. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And they make you get a certain haircut at first, like weird shit,
Yeah. Just like fucking Sounds kind of culty, to be honest.
I mean, I mean, they want you to be like a clean cut, proud, chauvinist male, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? They want you to have a certain aura, dude.
I
They
mean,
want you to carry yourself a certain way,
I guess they do that in fucking boot camp and shit too, right? They give you a nice fancy
right?
haircut when you first get there and all that.
They break you down and then build you up into what they want you to be, man.
Right. Same tactics, man. Different fucking
Yeah,
different application. It's the real
yeah.
militia.
You can't go that route because it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? You don't help criminalize them, man.
Right.
It's a brotherhoods, bro.
The funny thing about them all being a bunch of fucking white supremacies and shit too is like when you actually look at Antifa when you actually look at Antifa when you see this part of them it's all a bunch of fucking white kids. It's all a bunch of fucking like liberal fucking white kids and they literally with the whole CRT and shit they literally say that the first thing that they see about a person is their fucking skin color. The most
Yeah.
important thing about a person is their fucking skin color. Like, that's literally one of the fucking tenets of CRT, and they want to teach this to our kids. Like,
Speaking on that, you see, the mug shots of Antifa, like they got that sheet, bro, of just mug shots. It's just all blue hair meth addicts and shit and fat chicks, bro. Hilarious.
yep. Shit, one of my favorite ones I always like to make fun of is the one that got busted at what was it fucking the Stop Cop City one. Looks like fucking Fogel from Superbad.
Fogel.
Right? He's the red mist. Yep.
It's McLovin, dude.
Right. Yeah, let's see what else we got. We got all which one you want to go to? Fucking old Eric Adams or old fucking crack smoking, pole smoking?
I'd rather do the Eric Adam ones myself. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah. That's great shit, man. So fucking basically Eric Adams right now in terms of immigration is sounding exactly like motherfucking Trump in 2016. Build that fucking wall, goddammit.
Yeah, as the mayor of the country's largest sanctuary city.
Right. He's definitely regretting that fucking putting that label on fucking New York City at this point, yeah, fucking so he put out a video where he does it. You could like see the worry in his face. You could hear it in his goddamn voice. He's in full fucking panic mode, dude. He is defeated. Like he is full on fucking defeated, Like,
See no end of this. I see no end of this.
for the first time in my life, like I do not see a way out of this. Like we are fucked.
Amazing shit though, right? He's like, we took on 100,000 immigrants, but yet over 7,000 that we know, or 7 million rather, that we know of have poured into the country, and they just expect like the Southwest states and the South as a whole just to absorb that and let the people that push those tenants and vote for this bullshit to not only not have to see it, but never even have to deal with it. Like, nah, dude.
Right.
Here you goes. Your sanctuaries, dude. Sanctify it up, dog.
Yeah. Shit, fucking put your money where your mouth is, literally.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of fucking mouse.
Billions.
A whole lot of mouse that are requesting that money now. Yeah, fucking absolutely fucking hilarious shit. But at the same time, they're never gonna learn. All he wants is just fucking more. He wants funding from the federal government. He wants fucking sympathy. He doesn't. He doesn't want fucking. He's not learning anything from it. Like it. All that he's caring about is his city. Like, dude, this is your city right now is a microcosm for fucking America. Like, that's what's going on in America. That's what we're trying to fucking show you. Like, that's what we are trying in the most fucking bluntest ways to show you, because obviously words don't work with these people, You literally have to put it, like, in their fucking yard, You have to put it in the fucking NIMBY's backyard in order for them to actually be aware of, the implications of their policies,
Yeah, man, it's asinine, and then you see, you got Biden turning around immediately, like debating on whether they want to sign an executive order or try to pass through, the legislature to like basically a Stay in Texas Act.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where like you're allowed to pour through the border. We're going to sue the state for trying to enforce border security, but you're not allowed to leave. You're not allowed to
Yeah.
leave that area. Like what the fuck, man? And
Right.
then the left, they constantly have this argument that their states are subsidizing red states, right? But yet, if you look at it, regardless of how large the state economy, like California, the seventh largest in the world, right? They still always are in the red.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they're like, blue states subsidize red states. If anything, you're subsidizing your voting habits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if you notice, it's always blue states, blue city, states or mayors, governors that you see on TV begging for your tax dollars.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Rarely do you see, a Ron DeSantis, a Tim Scott, whatever, on TV begging for your tax dollars, man. Besides to send to the Ukrainians, of course.
Right. Right. It's because we're not getting it to them fast enough. That's the problem. Yeah, like an absolute ridiculousness, man. And just the whole fucking like the thing with trying to just fucking trap them in fucking Texas, like basically saying like they're trying to secure a border around Texas, but they won't secure a border around America. Like that makes no fucking sense at all, you know? I mean, it makes perfect sense, when you actually look at it from an objective fucking point of view, and it's clearly because they want to fucking subvert, elections. They want to fucking, quite literally replacement theory. They want to literally fucking replace the Republican voters. And, I was thinking back to our conversation about, prerequisites or fucking, having to at least fucking participate in the nation or have to actually contribute in order to vote. Because I was almost fucking rethinking my position on it for a second. Because I was almost kind of thinking, the slippery slope fallacy. You start fucking with people's rights to vote. Next thing you know, fucking nothing is sacred anymore. Then I overlooked the Constitution again. We don't have a constitutional right to vote at all, technically. Like that's a states thing. That's purely on the states. Like in the Constitution puts all elections in the hands of the states. We technically do not have a constitutional right to vote. Like, so really, that is something that could be fucked with. That is something that they could put prerequisites on, and it really wouldn't be fucking violating a constitutional right at all.
Yeah, because originally it was supposed to be like you had to have skin in the game. They automatically assumed you already knew if you're paying taxes, which was large landowners and shit like that. Then you got the right to vote. You know what I mean? And we both know like the Senate wasn't even elected at the time; it was appointed. You know what I mean? So it was our government structure has definitely been deviated and twisted and tweaked through the decades to where it's damn near unrecognizable from the original. I'm sure.
Yeah. The closest thing that we have to the Constitution saying anything about a right to vote is basically saying that the states do not have right to bar somebody from voting based on skin color or ethnicity and shit like that. Basically the Civil Rights Act. Saying you can't bar somebody based off of their immutable characteristics. But
right, so much later again,
right.
that was part of the twisting and tweaking.
Right. But your immutable characteristics do not have to do with the choices that you make. So we're not barring you because you're a certain skin color. We're barring you because you don't contribute at all. Like basically, the states have the right to fucking hold elections in which ways they see fit. The only thing is they can't bar you because of your fucking immutable characteristics, but we can bar you because of the fact that you are just dead weight that does not contribute anything but a vote.
Yeah, I feel that. Like I said, you'd have to pay at least income tax.
Right.
Or would you go, period? Would you go like property tax? Like how far would you want to go with that scheme? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, when it comes to property tax, who the fuck's a property owner anymore? Especially the only people that are going to be voting is fucking BlackRock and Vanguard, which essentially, when in the grand scheme of things, they're really the only people that do vote. Based on a new study that just came out. I don't remember the actual one, but if you want, go ahead and check out Dr. Steve Turley. He's been talking about it this whole last week, but basically, it proves that America is actually an oligarchy.
Right, but I meant as far as the tax, you know what I mean, is having something in the game, like paying property taxes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So, I guess I don't know. What I think would be best is basically if you're suckling on the teat of a motherfucking government, if you're on fucking food stamps, if you're on fucking, social security, if you're on, anything where basically you're not contributing and you're taken
Can't
away
put
from.
Social Security in there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess, fucking, for the elderly and shit like that. But if you're on,
Yeah.
something, basically, if you're, you know, uh, on public fucking welfare and shit, basically if you're not working, if you're not contributing, I guess, fucking then, you don't get a right to vote or something, or, I don't know, I guess just even just voter ID, dude, even just something as simple as goddamn voter ID, like just
To me,
fucking,
that's the best way to go. Voter ID,
right.
paper ballots, man. Fucking vote in person. Basically, you have to
Make it a
be like
national
over.
holiday.
Yeah, you got to be over like 72 or something like that to be able to vote from home. And I'm saying that as someone that has voted by mail for years, man. Like
Right.
I'll go stand in line, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm willing to do that. That's the least you can do for your country is stand in line for a while to fucking check a piece of paper.
Yep.
And like you said, definitely national holiday. You shouldn't have to work. You should be able to go stand in that line,
Right.
so you don't get the shenanigans we saw here, in Maricopa.
Well, we'll fucking shut down for fucking old G Dub's birthday, but we're not gonna fucking shut down for election day. Like elections aren't as important as that.
They
Yeah.
took away G Dub's birthday, bro.
Did
It's
they?
President's Day now.
Ah. Right. Yeah, I still call it G Dub's birthday.
Right, me too.
Right. But yeah, it's like either way, the sentiment remains, fucking like that's more important than election day. Like fuck it, the government shutting down doesn't really make a difference to me, but still, like fucking, you would think that fucking if you were to make anything a national holiday, that is actually, of something of consequence to the nation, it would probably be election day, you know?
Yeah, and the left loves fucking totalitarianism, right? So let's go that route, and not only you make it a national holiday, but then you also turn off the inner zones across the country, everything, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
dude, get your ID out, go stand in line, dude. You piece of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you never know how that'll go for you though, because of course the left will find ways to give voter cards to every homeless person fucking on the West Coast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, fucking. Yeah, when it comes to like fucking security and shit like that, dude, like we need security at shit that matters, like fucking, like fucking, I don't know, maybe election fucking, polling places, I don't know, maybe schools, I don't know, maybe fucking Epstein's prison cell, like. I don't know. We need fucking tighter security in more places rather than fucking making sure people aren't fucking speeding on the goddamn highway. Like,
Right. Your windows are two tinted, Bobby.
right, like fucking, yeah, the fucking federal government and shit like that has gone way too much into basically regulating the way that people conduct themselves. They're basically into I guess infringing on people's right to be fucking free, right to fucking self-govern and shit like that. In the most ridiculous of ways, down to like seatbelt laws. If you don't want to wear a fucking seatbelt, we're gonna fucking you have to pay us money. You're like it, and
Yeah.
the majority of fucking what police do is write fucking tickets. It's not like they're out there fucking busting bank robbers or fucking saving babies from burning buildings and shit. They're the majority fucking of them are just trying to fucking sit on their fucking fat ass with the goddamn radar gun. Then there's one. Yeah.
Unfortunately, dude, necessary evil, right? Because it's
Right.
the threat of death or incarceration that keeps the majority of people in line for the most part. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, dude, definite slime balls at this point, dude. And not only are they just pirates, like you're saying, but they should be ashamed of themselves, not proud. You see cops, they walk around trying to look at you like they're tough and stuff, bro.
Right.
Like, dude, you are a true piece of shit at this point. And because you're out there writing tickets, being arms for pirates, is the reason that 8 times out of 10 they're going to show up after the fact.
Right.
But everywhere it's always propaganda, quick to put it in your face, dude. When a cop, rolls up and murder some dude that's trying to fucking rape kids or whatever the case. But if they don't put it up there, that's 7, 8 out of the 10 times that fool is nowhere to be found, and those cases are going to go unsolved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Like, spend your time like actually trying to, like, I don't know, investigate rather than fucking checking out people's tire height and pressure.
I looked up a statistic a while back. Fucking, I don't remember the exact number, but I think it was somewhere around like 3% of fucking property crime actually get solved.
Yeah, and property crime's on the rise across the country, to the point to where, like in Texas now, they're telling people don't call 911, call 311, the non-emergency line,
Right.
and just basically hang out on hold for a while, dude.
Right. Yep. Fucking. Yeah, dude. Absolute fucking obvious fucking clown world and shit. But I don't like. I don't know. They say it's not like a fucking whole, like Alex Jones was saying, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. They know very well what the fuck they're doing. This,
Yeah, they have a goal in mind for sure.
right. And dude, like, I don't know. I like to say that fucking the Democrat establishment has a fucking a evil villain fucking syndrome where basically they have to fucking call out what they're doing right before they do it. That's why they'll fucking they'll scream fucking insurrection for a whole year, and then they'll fucking sit, they'll talk about like, oh, Donald Trump, he's gonna weaponize the government against his political opponents, watch. Like they literally accuse their enemy. Of course it's a fucking left-wing tactic and shit, accuse your enemy of what you're doing and shit, but it's
Alinskyism, projection.
like I say, it just it's blatantly obvious. It seems like they do it beforehand, like fucking they constantly just like I say, I like to call it fucking evil villain syndrome. They have to like fucking freeze gun, like
Right. Thus far, though, you got to admit with Trump, right? They might have cost him some serious dollars and legal defenses and shit, but thus far, all they've done is, bring attention to their reptilian activities, man, and the fact that they're complete communists.
Yep. And like I was saying earlier, fucking the lefties, fucking they don't like basically fucking governments going after fucking protesters just as much as we don't, because what are they fucking famous for? Fucking
Go ahead.
yeah,
What are they famous for?
they're fucking taken to the streets. Like that's their thing.
Right.
Fucking burn it down. Fucking at least fucking once a fucking month. They're fucking out there protesting something. Like that's their thing. So the fact that they're going after protesters and setting, again, as we say all the time, legal precedent in such a big way, fucking, it's got to have a lot of these fucking lefties kind of even, shaking even more in the fucking in supporting the fucking establishment right now. So that kind of brings us into our next story here. Fucking a CNN poll has Biden facing negative job ratings and concerns about his age as he gears up for 2024. It's a CNN article, and it goes into a whole bunch of different headlines, like fucking record low share of Americans say Biden inspires confidence. Fucking most Democratic voters wish they had an alternative to Biden. Fucking the voters say their choices in a 2020 rematch would most likely reflect their views on Trump. So basically, again, saying that they vote with hate rather than with logic. Yeah, just a whole bunch of fucking and then there's drop stat after stat after stat in here of just. It's not looking good for Biden. They're basically saying just about any Republican could beat Joe Biden at this point.
The most hilarious part of all of it, though, why I think it's complete asinine fucking clown world shit, is it says the only Republican that cleanly beats fucking Bidens. Haley, bro.
Oh yeah,
Nikki
fucking
Haley, bro.
Actually, right here. Meanwhile, hypothetical matchups also suggest there would be no clear leader should Biden face one of the other major GOP contenders, with one notable exception: Biden runs behind former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley.
Like, who?
Right? She's not even fucking like what is she at, like a couple percent? Like I know she's in the single digits, right, in the primaries right now.
It definitely has to be, because she's quite a bit behind fucking DeSantis as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would assume she's probably maximum 5.
Yeah. Like, is DeSantis still behind Ramaswamy?
I mean, dude, I mean, according to that poll, and old establishment Shapiro, Ron's still a solid two,
Yeah,
but well behind Trump, of course. And I think it's something between like 38 and 46 points now
yeah,
separates Trump and DeSantis, dude. So I mean, it's still completely insurmountable.
yeah, yeah. Fucking yeah, shit. I don't know, man. Like I say, fucking, I like Ramaswamy and shit, and fucking, just I don't know. The dude's kind of growing on me. Fucking, just the fact that obviously he's everywhere. Like literally every single person who's gotten a Trump with Ramaswamy, I'm considering reaching out to the dude. Like, you know,
Yeah.
he's fucking taking every single goddamn interview, fucking debate, anything that anybody has thrown at him. And like fucking, it's hard to think that the dude's putting on a show with that kind of fucking uh effort, and just the fact that he's just continuously hammering home this fucking this rhetoric in a way that he's able to explain it to people in a way that like Trump may be a bit more just kind of bold and brash and just fucking rub some people the wrong way when he says the exact same things. Hey,
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's articulate, dude. I mean, he's definitely high functioning intellect, man.
yeah,
And I mean, it would be hard for anybody to debate that guy, I think.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Like I said, still not still Trump, still voting Trump in the primaries, still fucking voting shit. If it comes down to it, I'll still write Trump in. But yeah, I like the dude. If I can, I've been skeptical on the guy. If I can, he talks a good game and all that shit, and that's of course he's coming out of a fucking big pharma fucking background. So I mean, it's highly questionable. But like I say, at this point, yeah, I like the guy. Again, he doesn't have any chance of winning in 2024. If I can. Uh, but still, I like the guy. So I kind of want to actually go into that real quick. Fucking so, we say quite a bit that fucking it's not Trump is not MAGA. Trump is not the everything that has to do with MAGA. MAGA at this point has become a fucking movement and shit. But it's Trump or nothing right now. At this point, basically it's Trump or nothing, and that's for a reason. It's not, as we say, because we're super fucking Trump fans or fucking Trump is just Jesus reincarnated and shit like that. Like we're not fucking conspiracy theorists and sticking to the plan and shit. But the reason that
He's gonna be president this year, bro.
right. Right. He's actually president right now, but really, Trump is deep state, actually. Deep state's
Joe
Trump.
Biden was executed at Guantanamo.
Yeah. But, so again, the reason I say that it's Trump or nothing is because of the battle that's going on right now with the political establishment versus Trump. Nobody else has the same reason to go after Trump, to go after the establishment as Trump does. And basically, other than the fact that people are out here able to spit the same rhetoric, I mean, Trump at this point, like I say, has become such a boogeyman figure to the establishment that at this point, it's literally, if it's not Trump, the establishment is okay with it, and I'm not okay with that. So basically, at this point, it's become literally, if the only way that the only chance that we ever have in our fucking goddamn lives to tell the federal government, to tell the deep state establishment, to tell the fucking puppet masters that are fucking secretly pulling the strings, fuck you, is to make sure that Trump wins this election. Anything else is falling short of victory. Anything else is a loss. So I say Trump is not MAGA. Trump is not God. Trump is not the movement. Trump started the movement. Trump got the ball rolling on the movement, and that's why I say, the majority of MAGA is pro 2A. Trump, not so much. That's why I say, Trump's not fucking the Jesus of fucking MAGA and shit. He's basically just the person that got it rolling. And at this point, he is literally the only goddamn chance that we have of, putting an end to this fucking clearly deep state that has gone full on fucking rogue tyranny fucking level. And like we say, dude, this is fucking full on legal precedent that's been set. This is, they don't care anymore. You know, they're literally, we will destroy the country and deal with the consequences after. Like we've said before, you know, fucking, they're literally poking holes in the ship, they're sinking the ship, and I guarantee you they have the only fucking life rafts, you know? That's why I can basically, you know, that's what, you know, it needs to be fucking Trump, or basically the game is over. You know, basically we've lost fucking, we now live in a fucking tyranny state, and that's it. That's the end of the story, you know? Anybody else that, you know, happens to get in, fucking, be it Ramaswamy, be it fucking DeSantis, be it fucking RFK, you know, they are all going to fucking bow down to the establishment, because the establishment has just taken on its most fucking worthy opponent, the fucking, the people's champion. And if they come out successful, that's it. Nobody will ever fucking take them on again, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I feel that, man. And like I said, these people think they're going to be in the inner party, the people that are cheering this on and pushing for this kind of shit, right? And dude, we may have been there a little while by the time they get there, but dude, we'll see you in the gulag too, son. It's a world of difference from even just 10 years ago to now, to think this is happening. And you got these, the lefties, of course, and screaming, it's fascists. And like, little do they even realize they're literally cheering on fascism, man. And it's not even slow creeping at this point. Said it's out in the open. They're doing what they have to do to destroy a single person to stop a movement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or so they think it will, rather.
And not to mention the fact that based off of these polling numbers, both in the primaries, Trump is by a huge fucking margin going to win the fucking primaries. And then based on these fucking pollings, that basically shows that Trump is essentially neck and neck with fucking Joe Biden for whatever fucking reason. The dude's a fucking rotting bag of fucking bones, but still, people are still willing to vote for him. And like CNN says, a lot of people are still willing to vote out of hatred for Trump rather than what's best for the country, you know? And so basically, if it's not Trump, if it's one of the other, fucking people, or whatever, for one, fucking, we're not going to accept the reality of that anymore. We're not going to accept that was a fucking fair and free election, seeing as Trump has garnered much more support at this point than in the 2020 election. And then at the same time, Joe Biden has lost substantial support since 2020 election. There's nobody that's going to believe that fucking Joe Biden beat fucking Donald Trump. And then as going against the establishment and shit, I forgot where I was going with it, but yeah.
Yeah, you got to know. I know exactly where you're going with it, dude. Like, if Trump doesn't win, they're still in the election, bro. They're doing it again, just like they did the last time. The reason they're rolling out masks so they can push the COVID-19s, dude, 1984s, and push the whole mail-in ballot shit. And everybody knows it. It's common fucking knowledge. Hence the reason we can talk about it now here on the old censorious juice tubes, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't get any more clown world than what we're living in. They're literally destroying democracy in front of your eyes, that they always have to preach on, that, like January 6th, worst days in history, right? But, it's going to destroy democracy, but in democracy in the name. Democrat, bro. Yeah. But they're trying to destroy any democratic semblance the country has. And no, I'm not acquiescing. We live in a democracy. It's one step in a larger system.
Yep. But yeah, fucking, and then I just remembered what I was going to say about fucking, if somebody other than Trump that's a Republican were to get in, it's still going to destroy the country based on the fact that, again, legal precedent has been set. And so if these people were to get into office and start using said legal precedent to go after the corrupt establishment of the Joe Biden fucking administration, well, that's going to have, obvious fucking bad optics. Trump's fucking saying basically that, this is his fucking mission, it's going to have bad optics. And of course the fucking lefties are going to tear shit down. They're going to fucking try to fucking, have another summer of love and all that shit. And the the base on the right is not going to galvanize around somebody like fucking Ramaswamy or Ron DeSantis or fucking as much as they would around fucking Trump or goddamn fucking Nikki Haley. We're definitely not, I don't see the right wing fucking galvanizing around Nikki Haley when the fucking libtards fucking go after her for trying to fucking tear down the establishment and go after fucking the fucking corruptocrats, you know.
Right.
But Trump, on the other hand, that's literally the reason that people are willing to vote for him, is because of the fact that he's, you know, he's on a mission, you know, to fucking tear down the motherfuckers that have wronged him, and just the fact that, you know, all of this legal precedent is being set on him. Again, you know, the biggest, the only chance that fucking the stars have aligned so perfectly within our lifetimes that we get the opportunity right now to literally unanimously fucking say, fuck you to the federal government. We are free motherfucking people. We make our own goddamn decisions. Fuck off, you know?
Yeah, it's a last chance to throw up the chains. We say this all the time. I mean, you had biddens back in 2012, like they're gonna put y'all back in chains. But you know, like I said, they're not hiding it, man. They're trying to take everything from you, from light bulbs to dishwashers to firearms to authority over your children to, you know, the ability to speak, the ability to question elections, which is directly the reasoning behind the First Amendment. It's not really so you can walk around and act like an asshole, and that's protected speeches. It's so you could talk about elections, you could speak negatively about the government, and be protected from retribution from that government.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, I mean, they're absolutely touting, you know, we're destroying this bitch in front of you, whether you like it or not.
Yep. And it's when you look back on like history and shit like that, you know, it's not like a fucking, you know, here's the point, you know, fucking, all right, this is war, people, you know, like it's literally a fucking a slow progression until finally, you know, the people have had enough, you know. And that's, we're literally fucking watching history unfold right now, you know, and it's pretty crazy shit, especially, you know, when you've observed history in the past and shit, you know.
It's fucking go back into World Trade Center 7. You'll be safe.
Right.
For real.
Yeah.
Everything's okay.
Yeah, fucking they all ready to talk about some motherfucking crack cocaine, whips and chains and whatnot.
I'll take 2 cracks.
Right. All right, so fucking I don't got any articles pulled up or anything, and I didn't actually watch the full video because it's obviously not that interesting to me. But either way, it is interesting to the country, and it is an interesting story either way. But fucking shit, I can't even remember the dude's name right now. I'm pretty stoned, but
Something Clancy, right?
right.
It's Tom Clancy's nephew, and supposedly when Barack Hussein's was a fucking nobody community organizing senator in Chicago there, he decided to hook up with a gay guy and you know, go on a limo ride to smoke cracks and get fellatios, right?
Fucking Larry Sinclair, that's his name. So fucking old dancing queen fucking Larry Sinclair did an interview with Tucker Carlson. So Larry Sinclair, I guess, came out during the fucking Biden campaign back in the day and tried to, you know, share this story about this time when, what was it, New York, or where the fuck were they? I don't know. Chicago, right? Chicago, and fucking he met this this young black male, and they, you know, had some passionate fucking romance, and they, you know, got a little high together, and turned out that person was Barack Obama. He didn't know it at the time, but they tried to come out with this story, and the media suppressed it. The media said absolutely not, you know, fucking not gonna happen. So now Tucker Carlson is basically revisiting, and the dude has the exact same story. Story hasn't changed one damn bit, you know. So of course, whether or not fucking Barack Obama had sex with men and smoked crack, who gives a shit, you know? What the fuck ever, you know, you know, to each their own, I guess, you know. The whole part that's interesting about it is the fact that he was, you know, obviously a fucking a president, and the fact that his stance when it comes to things like gay marriage and shit like that. At least his supposed stance. It's between a man and a woman, and that's about it. And then of course all the stuff kind of circling around it, the little fucking breadcrumbs and shit like that that really do kind of lead to its authenticity. And at the same time, the other fucking part about this is its I guess juxtaposition to the old fucking what the fuck was her name? E. Jean Carroll bullshit, right? So basically the whole fucking the media fucking with the whole E. Jean Carroll thing had a fucking whole shitstorm and shit. Basically, really anything that fucking Trump did or that they imagined that he did, they fucking ran with it like it was fucking like it was biblical doctrine and shit. Like it was absolute 100% fucking set in stone and shit. But when it comes to Obama, I forgot where I was going with this. I'm pretty damn stoned. But when it comes to Obama,
it's more credible. It's more credible from the homosexual guy that's given great detail, hasn't changed the story in over a decade, compared to E. Jean Carroll that goes on to tell you that she was ravished by Donald J's up in one of the most busiest stores at the time, downtown New York. Can't tell you the day or even the year, the season, goes back and forth on the entire situation, and that nobody saw either of them in there, and that they were able to just hang out inside of a dressing room. Where I know, for decades, coming from a large city myself, I mean, you can't even bring somebody in the motherfucker with, let alone someone's going to creep in and come in and finger you inside, dude.
right.
And and so the
you.
media basically won a defamation case for this chick, and now Trump's paying her millions of dollars, and he went on the old Truth to go on there to say this chick's a fucking lunatic. I don't even know her, and now I got to pay her. And then the judge was like, "Oh, you're guilty again of some more defamation.
Hey,
We got to get some more of that Trumpsicles cash." You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a never-ending barrage for that guy. But to get back to the subject, obviously a way more credible story coming from the transmissions out there in fucking Chi-Town, bro.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't understand is like we got the cocaine, we were snorting, and I was doing it off swing wangs. Pipe when he was smoking crack. Like, how did he bubble up in a limo, bro?
Right. Some stuff that doesn't check out there, man. Though if you know, you know. You don't just fucking put cocaine into a pipe and suddenly it turns into crack. There's a process to that. You gotta
Right.
pull out your spoon, you gotta pull out your water, your fucking soda, your penny, whatever you choose to scoop it up with. You gotta there's a process to it, and that's something that you would more than likely remember somebody taking part in, and that probably something that would be a detail that you would definitely remember, rather than just like, oh, he put it in his pipe and we smoked it, so it must have been crack. If it was actually crack, then you would remember the fact that, oh, he pulled out a fucking spoon, went and over here and fucking then mixed it all up and pulled himself out a rock and threw it in the pipe. Like you would definitely remember that detail. That's definitely something that you would include in there. So that's the only thing that's somewhat fishy about it, and that's not necessarily a key detail. Maybe he was just doing coke and he's trying to embellish just a little bit, but either way, if I can.
He was really freebasing off a beer can, dude. You know what I'm saying? With a little bit of spit and semen in there. Bing, 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 bass, bing, bass. Yep, dude. And if you guys don't remember the long process of making some crack, just bump that old school fucking Master P, dude. Make crack like this.
Right. Yeah. If I can, and then not to mention the what was it, part of a biography that somebody was doing on him or some shit like that, and basically they came across some letters that he wrote to a girlfriend from around that same time period. I think I don't quote me. I think somebody else also did some research and also found out that he was in fact in Chicago at that time. But yeah, the fucking letters that he wrote to a girlfriend, fucking basically saying that he fantasizes about sleeping with men on a daily basis.
That's trying to let her know that he's bi and he'd like the sandwich, dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're a piece of white bread. I'm a piece of white bread.
Right. And then, of course, we could also get into the whole fucking Big Mike allegations and all that too, you know. But conspiracy theorists. You seen that motherfucker's
Here's
shoulders?
to you, Mr. Robinson.
Right.
Yeah, of course, dude. Especially the pictures where she's in the low cut back dress, man, standing beside him, and it's like a back shot of him, dude, in front of the crowd, and her shoulders are all ripped and broad, dude, standing next to his narrow, little sickly ass
Right.
looking mug. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mentioned before, I think we spoke on the show, and my brother was actually commented on it, dude, where I was saying how Obama threw the ball, and he said, "What the fuck? 50 Cent threw it like that too, bro." But dude, every way Obama's carried himself, like we make fun of Bidens falling down on the bike. But you ever see Obama riding a bike? It's hilarious, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Wizard of Oz. Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah. Shit. At least when Joe Biden falls off a bike, he gets right back up and talks to the first child that he sees.
Right.
You see that? That was weird, right? Like, why the fuck did you pop up and just talk to the first child that was nearby? Like, why don't you talk to your Secret Service people or
Like,
your wife,
like
maybe?
TV, like, whoa, I meant to do that.
Did I look cool? Like, Bidens, man. Oh, shit. But again, if I can, either way, it's completely fucking inconsequential. I mean, it's not like Obama's up for re-election. He's ran his 2 terms. There's no way that he's ever gonna fucking run for president again. So again, it's completely inconsequential. But I do fucking tip my hat to fucking Tucker Carlson for vindicating that man. Yeah, the media smeared him, called him a fucking a liar or whatever the fuck. I don't know. They ignored him, made him feel like he was nothing. He was just, that meant something to him. That night was special.
He was a conspiracy sexual, dude. Don't be coming around her. And Tucker got him 100 million views, man. You know what I mean? And don't forget, it wasn't just tonight. The next morning, Barack showed up at his room with another bag of crack.
Right. Very next day, unannounced.
It is totally inconsequential, man. But like I said, the left has been playing the inconsequential fucking game now for, going on 9 years, bro. And, it's tit for tat, really. I mean, it's time to do that, because if it was about a Republican, it would have been front page news for like a fucking year when he initially came out with it. It wouldn't be 10 years later, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking, forgot what I was gonna say.
Moving on to the ADL.
The ADL, fucking, yeah, fucking. I didn't really look too much into the ADL thing, fucking. Do you think Elon has a chance of actually winning any sort of lawsuit against it or anything like that?
Well, according to old Goldblatt or whatever the fuck his name is, the head of the ADL, Shalom, Bobby. He's out here saying that, of course, Elon has a chance. We're talking about one of the, if not the richest man in the world. That the ADL is going to need tons and tons more donations to fight off this legal assault, man. You know what I mean? And of course, the immediate, the ADL at this point, they are the defamation league, and everything that they don't agree with or that speaks out against anything they do agree with is white supremacies to the extremesies, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even like it's okay to be white, which is literally like trying to teach children what would be quote unquote true history, whatever the fuck that is, you know what I mean? But basically just to get away from the CRT, it's like a alternate education, and trying to raise like college and shit like that, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's racist, I mean. It's been shown time and time again that anything that has to do with, whiteism, again, whatever the fuck that is, right? It's a pretty, nuanced thing, is racist, man.
Right. Whiteism is basically anything that the left doesn't like showing up to work on time.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the ADL is concerned, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean, and they're supposed to be the Anti-Defamation League, but that's all they do is defame people and or threaten to defame you if you don't pay them. They blackmailed an entire country. You know what I mean?
I think my favorite part about the whole fucking the Elon Musk versus the ADL thing is watching Ben Shapiro report on it.
Yeah,
Just cause,
he's
right,
squirming.
right. So you're right. It's not to discount a lot of the good things that they have done in the fight against anti-Semitism. But
Right.
this time they're wrong. Like, yeah, yeah, dude, absolutely hilarious, man. Freaking. Do you think they're watering down the anti-Semitism? I mean, that word's been fucking watered down, in my opinion, for quite some time. Like to the point where like how they do it's like misogynism and shit. Like fucking at the point where we're at now. Like fucking
Racisms and
right. Like fucking most of us is like, well, shit. Being a misogynist means that I fucking take care of my family and I'm the head of the fucking family, and fucking my wife fucking washes the dishes and fucking does laundry and shit. Well, I guess I'm a misogynist then. Like uh, I guess that's not a bad word now. You think they're gonna eventually water it down and shit like that? Like shit, even what was it? Fucking Matt Walsh on his political views on his fucking Twitter page. His political views are fascism. Like like there's I think that a lot of the stuff that's basically been used to fucking basically kind of keep people in check as being a taboo and shit like that has really been watered down at this point, even down to the point of the old anti-Semitisms.
I don't want to get too far, right wing extremes in here, right? They'd get us booted and stuff. But I think that any kind of dual allegiance in any way, shape, or form has no place in government, man.
Mhm.
And and I think that entities that cater to single groups at the expulsion of others have no place either in like a free and open society. That it's about integration. That was supposed to be the American dream. Not give me your huddled masses. All that trash was added many years after. It was like, you can come here, but you have to assimilate. That's the American dream. You blend in, become American, function like an American, which came with that, house, the job, the fucking wife and kids. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And yeah. And
Think
like you said, if go ahead.
I think a problem is they are acting like Americans, dude. Like Americans these days have become the stereotype of what American was, back in the old days. Fucking fat and lazy and fucking, the way that other countries would stereotype American shit. We've become that, like fucking they're just fat, lazy, cheeseburger eating fucking motherfuckers. Like
To an extent,
yeah,
but a big part of it is because of those entities that cater to groups that make
right.
that kind of shit okay. Like if you point it out or whatever, you're harassment and bullying. We have to remove your content. You know what I mean? Shit like that, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, to the stupidest, most inconsequential example. I mean, they punish you in any way if you go against the narrative of any group because they have watchdogs out there that do nothing but look out for that group and sow division and fucking they're the real hate. They you know what I mean? The coexist it's dude, we've talked about it before. It's fucking divergence and everything but thought, man. It's fucking
Yeah.
diverse in this.
Right. Speaking of fucking hatred and diversity and everything, fucking so Joe Biden's polls may be tanking lately, but at least he is drumming up support in a place that you didn't really expect. Of course, I'm talking about the old fucking clip heard around the world. Fucking, I like fucking Joe Biden better than Donald Trump because he sends rockets to Ukraine.
Yeah. Disco Nazis and shit, man. Like you're just waiting for them to start breaking it down, dude.
Right, dude, fucking absolutely hilarious, and especially dude with all the digging and shit Laura Loomer did right, like immediately right after that video came out, dude. Like fucking basically got up all the backgrounds of everybody and shit, like all those fucking like Omegle videos of that fucking of the main dude and shit, like kind of fucking talk to children,
rap videos and shit.
Yeah, dude, like she was on it, fucking just every single thing that related to the dude, like she fucking exposed him like on the spot, dude. And then
You see the vast majority of the comments though, where everyone talking about her, like, what are the chances that she just happened to show up at this place? Or you know,
right. Yeah. I don't think she took the video. I think just when the video came out, she was just on Twitter, fucking just like, oh, I found him here. I found him here. I found him here. I found him here.
they were saying like she was there in the crowd. Like apparently, like one of the clips that aren't as widespread, they literally say something to her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll have to see if I can find that one. The only one I've seen is the short clip, you know, with the fucking hell lays off.
Right.
Right, but don't worry, we're definitely not sending your money to Nazis. We guarantee you. Don't worry. Even though the person that was in the back yelling out "Hell Azov" did just come here from the Ukraine, and he has been arrested on terrorism charges prior to going to Ukraine. But he's part of the Azov battalion. But don't worry, you know, we're sending your money over to them, but it's not them.
And if you're watching the clip, man, the guy standing to the left of him also labeled as a domestic terrorist at some point previously.
Yeah,
so it's a good crowd.
Right.
Definitely good crowd.
Right, definitely. The obvious Biden supporters. One thing that Biden supporters have been known for as of late, it's been terrorisms.
You know what? But where's the crowd screaming that he has to denounce this fucking this endorsement, man? Because if it was Trump, you remember Trump came out many times and said, "I denounce white supremacy. I denounce the KKK. I denounce David Duke.
Yeah.
I don't have any affiliation with these people." And it still wasn't enough. People are still like, "Dude, he's white supremacy."
Right.
But then Biden's got this endorsement, and everyone's going to be like, "It's a joke."
Right.
So they're just talking shits.
And that's not even to mention all the fucking clips of Joe Biden, the fucking racial jungle clips, the fucking poor kids are just as smart and talented as white kids, fucking it goes on and on, of Joe Biden just fucking I learned about cockroaches that day, like fucking
did the eulogy at the fucking Grand Cyclops'
right.
funeral.
It goes on and on and on and on. Not to mention the 1994 crime bill, which as we know, it did affect the fucking black communities disproportionately to the other communities. Yeah.
Yeah. And he doesn't care that you've had disparities. You're a super predator, and you need to go to prisons.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw a CNN poll or a CNN fucking article when I was looking up the poll and shit like that, about how even though they say that fucking Donald Trump is surging with the black voters and shit, it's actually not true. It's actually a fact check. We fact checked that. Actually, it's not true. And so as you're I'm sure very well aware of, whenever CNN fact checks something, it's because it's fucking true, and they're trying to fucking basically put one minor little detail in it just so that way they could say fact check, So, I mean, it does show that Trump really is kind of fucking, coming up with the black vote, I'm assuming, it's black male vote and shit, but, either way, just the black vote, Either way, it's siphoning off fucking votes from the left and bringing them toward Trump. Which is why I say, Trump isn't a Republican candidate per se. Right now, Trump is the fuck you candidate. And I think that resonates with America more than any campaign promise any president has ever made. Ever. Like I said,
it's the only thing keeping that party alive at this moment, to be honest with you. Like, they've lost all credibility with the vast majority. Once the 80-year-olds die out, man, it's a fucking wrap, I think.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because he's also the same person that killed him. Same person that killed the fucking Republican Party. Now he's just fucking dragging them along. Like, come on now. Yep. Yeah, like I said, dude.
I think they killed themselves through his regime, dude. The standing against, trying to secure America, yada yada, and the shenanigans that they've played since, man. Like Kevin McCarthy, dude. What a jellyfish this guy's turned out to be. And if you remember it, we have to go back in one of the videos because I called that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? I knew immediately that this guy was going to be a sellout. He's from California. I expect nothing less. You know what I mean? Even the Republicans there are liberals, and dude, it's I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, if I can, as Bongino likes to say, yeah, it made them show their ass. You know, when once Trump came in, the Uniparty didn't have a choice but to stand against him. You know, his own party that was part of the Uniparty. You know, they didn't have a choice but to stand against him. Essentially, it forced them to show their ass. You know, it showed who they really were. So that's, you know, like you say, they killed themselves. You know, but really, it took basically Trump like exposing them for them to fucking do it. You know.
Some of them literally did. Like McCain, he used his dying strength, dude, to fucking give a
Right.
thumbs down to repealing Obama's cares, dude. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Straight fucking lizard till the end, piece of shit, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And of course, you still got people to this day, like, you know, his death anniversary passed not long ago. Like, you know, we lost some American heroes, dude. Oh, Songbird? What the fuck, dude? You know what
Right.
I mean? The American hero that sent countless of your sons and daughters to go die? Fuck yeah, bro.
Right.
That's who I want.
That does really kind of point out though, like we say all the time, you know, like when it comes to like the people that are still, you know, just like vote blue no matter who, like a lot of them are either one, just fucking evil fucking establishment paid shills, or two, fucking just old people that still think they're just out there fighting the good fight, you know, fucking sticking it to the man, you know, Democrats, woo, civil rights, you know, like they're the
This
people,
time
those
around,
people,
though,
you
dude,
know.
it can't. It'll always be vote blue no matter who for them, but this time for us, dude, it's fucking vote red or get stead, dude.
Right. What do you think of that Trump or death, or give me Trump or give me death fucking banner that they flew at the, was it the Yankees game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, to me, you know, obviously you're not in those people's head, but to me, that's a big show that this is a movement, dude. This isn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trump or death is, you know, obviously obvious there.
Yep. It wasn't it like, I think someone was saying that was the same the exact same fucking rail where someone got arrested just a few years prior for flying a Trump one banner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's because it's a Trump one, though. You know what I mean? That
Right.
was a fucking that was, you know, well, still obviously they're trying to knock that up some.
Yeah.
That again, that's hate speeches, bro. But you know, again, here on the YouTube, they're letting us talk about it. So
Yeah.
you know, obviously it's common knowledge.
Yeah. Shit. All right, man. Fucking, yeah, we're coming up on about 2 hours here.
We're getting longers and longers, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty soon it's going to be a Bonhino radio show, bro. Fucking 3 hours long, and
Right.
you know what I mean, we got to have fucking Joe and Gee going in the back. Flag it.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah. Fucking, but yeah, fucking, in case this channel ever does get banned, man, fucking, I'd appreciate it if you guys were to hop over to the Rumble channel and subscribe over there, because, you know, if this channel were to ever get flagged or, you know, removed or anything like that, we'll still be streaming on Friday. It'll just be on Rumble, you know. And I may
Don't forget BitChute, dude. The true fucking goddamn free speech content platform on the inner zones, dude.
right. All the live streams and videos are also uploaded to BitChute. Ken, are you able to stream on BitChute?
I don't know if they've got it yet. I know that they were working on it. It may be up. I'm not positive, but I know that they were coming up on it. Sticks was talking about it. So
Yeah, I may start paying for the fucking StreamYard or Restream or something like that, so I could stream YouTube and Rumble simultaneously. But yeah, at the moment, you know, fucking, we're only doing YouTube. But if you guys would go ahead and hop on over, subscribe to the Rumble channel, so that way, you know, if you guys ever see that we're not here, we might be over there. Also, make sure that you guys check out the old Liberty Swine channel, and we appreciate you guys stopping by. Fucking, yeah. Anything else you want to throw in before we head out?
not a damn thing, man. Have a good weekend. Nice smoking with you. Hope you guys enjoyed. Fucking come back, share the shit out. Let's try to build it up a little bit. Smell you later.
Yeah. Peace.